Hello, I'm Healthy Emmie. This is Healthy Mummy and Healthy Dad. We were raised in a standard American household eating the standard American diet. About 7 years ago, when I was 19, I decided to go on a plant-based diet. Down the line, Healthy Mummy would start to struggle with menopause, weight gain, and Healthy Dad would struggle with the health issues associated with obesity. So I convinced them to come on the plant-based board. They've been happily plant-based and in a healthy BMI for almost 5 or 6 years now, and we're gonna be telling their story today. Hello my honeys, if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Emmie. I'm a nutritionist and the creator of the Slim on Starch program where you work with me as well as a mindset coach and a nutrition coach to lose weight on a plant-based diet. Go to healthyemmie.org and apply to work with me. Before we begin, I do want to give a brief overview of what this looked like, where they started and where they are now. So Mom, do you want to give us the elevator speech of your plant-based journey?
I started in the plant-based lifestyle when my cholesterol was quite high and have successfully maintained eating plant-based only foods, no meat and dairy since then.
And you can check out the whole Healthy Mummy series. She's a tiny hiney now. She lost menopause, weight gain, and also her cholesterol, and all of her numbers are in the normal range now. Dad, give us your elevator speech.
Well, I would eat grilled cheese and pepperoni with jarred tomato sauce for lunch with potato chips. It was delicious, you know. I was the one who was doing all the shopping, so when the curtain came back and there was lesser and lesser requests for sausages and hamburgers and stuff like that, I kind of made a decision. I'll give it a whirl and see what happens. From a weight standpoint, as we've spoken before, I was 234 pounds. I'm about 178, 179 now, and holding steady. Kind of the results speak for themselves.
Beautiful. All right, let's get into it. I'm going to do as little talking as possible and let you both shine. So today's video is going to be split into a few sections. The sections are transitioning to this lifestyle, changes since transitioning, food and exercise, helping others, social situations, menopause and health, and then personal questions. How did you, as a me, convince them? So I guess the question is, how did you become convinced? And how did you finally realize that this was the healthiest way to eat? Because I was just a dog of the blob.
Well, as Sir Paul McCartney said, if slaughterhouses had glass walls, no one would eat meat. And now I was really impacted by the cruelty. I don't think I could ever eat a piece of meat again, truly. And then the lifestyle just started to benefit me. I felt lighter, brighter, more healthy, leaner. So I felt the results.
I think with me, as you know, I go swimming a lot, and in the locker room is the scale. And I was essentially losing a pound a day.
That's insane.
And you know, it's not a lie. And it was a pound a day. I refer to it as a body enema. You feel lousy kind of for 3 weeks, but that wears off.
Yeah, it's a detox.
It's the physical results of what you see, and then your clothes, you know, you stop fitting because you're not filling them out like you used to.
Yeah, no, you really do go through detox with these processed foods. Dr. Joel Fuhrman calls it toxic hunger. When people get hungry when they're eating standard American diet, it's not that they're truly hungry, it's that they're having withdrawal symptoms from the processed foods.
I believe it.
It's wild, and you got to get your hit. So Virginia says, to HM and HD, there are a lot of abbreviations for this. What was the most challenging part about adapting to the lifestyle?
In the very beginning, I think when we both were not doing it, that was a little challenging, but Dad jumped on board so quickly that wasn't an issue.
We didn't have any major,
really
other than withdrawals that we spoke about earlier, just the withdrawal process. That was, but again, that was counteracted by the physical weight loss.
Right.
Did you crave any types of foods?
In the beginning, yes. I always remember the first 3 weeks, I think, were the most difficult. But the first 3 weeks of anything are difficult.
Anything.
Right. Breastfeeding, what you think, I cannot do this for more than, and then after 2 or 3 weeks, you're in.
Whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. Dad, I remember you saying you were hungry in the beginning.
Yeah.
You said you felt like you had sand and dust in your stomach.
I know that was withdrawals, but yes, I was hungry because I wasn't eating these things that would, you know, kind of sit around in my stomach to keep me full, even though it was doing me no good. But it subsided. The symptoms abate after a while. Again, that 3 weeks or so. But again, adding it all up, knowing that I was moving myself in the right direction was greater asset than the liability of not feeling all that great for a short period of time.
You're good at delayed gratification, Dad. So that really benefited you in this lifestyle. I like this question. Did you have any family tradition foods or recipes that you had a hard time giving up?
I don't miss the meals as much as I miss the people. You know, that's what I miss. You know, it was always, she would make these great meals, the roast beef and whatever, But it was the hilarity of being together.
Yeah, and the family traditions really started to subside around the same time we got into this, because our folks were older and they either passed away or were unable to carry on their own traditions.
What a insightful point, though, Mom, to the people that are so fixated on the food. Someday those people are going to be gone and you're going to look back and say, oh my God, all I thought about the whole time was the food and not the people. Are you okay, Mom?
Yeah, I'm good.
You miss Mimi and Papa?
I do.
We miss them too. This is for Mom. Mary Ann says, if Healthy Mommy didn't have high cholesterol, would she have transitioned to SOS?
I think so, yes, because second to the high cholesterol, as we remember, was that life vest, life preserver, life buoy, spare tire of excess fat around my midsection that drove me insane. So I definitely would have done it anyway.
Healthy Mommy was thin her whole life. She's 5'10", skinny, the whole thing, and then post-menopause, as your hormones change, estrogen drops, it causes you to hold on to more weight in your stomach. But we took care of that very quickly. How did your extended family react to your dietary changes?
The older generation's not so great.
Due to their lack of education, which, you know, we were uneducated at the beginning, but when you start to become educated to the process, over the course of time, you let these people talk themselves out. You know, they may or may not become educated themselves, but, you know, again, when you start seeing the results, I noticed it, you know, kind of over the summer with people I hadn't seen in a while, and they've seen the difference, and not only just, you know, the lifestyle of what we eat, but also what we do, say, from an exercise standpoint as well, that, you know, it's all incorporated into the package at this stage of the game.
They were coming from a different place, I think, in their lives revolving around food, the generation prior to us.
Yeah, and you think like the post-World War II generation, there was so much time without meat that when it came back in, it probably seemed like this, oh my gosh, we've gone so long without this.
A lot of deprivation.
I remember we went to lunch with Nana, Dad, and you ordered a salad, and she was like, you're gonna die young.
How do you
Well, what you say to that, this is what you do. When people say that, you say you're probably right, because what are they gonna say back to that? It really shuts people up.
What we've learned over the course of time, and I think you probably have some other questions to that effect, is let them think what they think, and I think what I think, and I don't sit there and try to tell them that they are wrong and I am right, when they're trying to tell me that they're right and we're wrong, because we know that's not the case.
Right, and you're not going to convince them. A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. So just, you can use the seems strategy. Say, it seems like it's going well for me. You're probably right. I probably do need protein, and I do need to drink milk. You're probably right, but it seems like it's going well for me.
And really what you've done probably is plant a seed.
Sooner or later, people are going to have to change to a plant-based diet. They're going to have a heart attack or a stroke, or
the planet's going to give up.
If they don't change, then that's what they have. And they may not be on any diet at all.
Listen, they'll get there eventually, and they'll be asking you. Healthy Mommy, do you think you could have done it if you didn't have me cooking your meals when you first started?
No. Remember there were notes in cabinets, you can eat this, you can't eat that.
When we first started, I was so dedicated to showing her what it could look like. I cooked all of her meals. I put notes in the cabinet. You can have this, you can't have this, to make the transition as easy as possible.
Yeah. I mean, really, we're talking about undoing 50 years of eating. So it was I think it went more quickly having Emily prepare the meals for me.
Did Healthy Mom or Healthy Dad drink alcohol before going plant-based? Do they drink socially?
I drink socially. I think we drank as much as any younger people did throughout college and afterwards until we started a family. I find now that if I drink alcohol, it interrupts my sleep and I don't feel great the next morning. That's as of late, so it's getting less and less.
Yeah, you rarely drink, and when you do, you never have more than one glass of wine.
No, it's messy if I don't.
I, in my day, drank more than my fair share. Yeah, I was a beer drinker, but I haven't drank in over 20 years. I had an epiphany, and it took care of itself. So
I can't believe it's been 20 years.
Yeah, so I don't drink at all. I have no desire. And
so Healthy Dad doesn't drink, I don't drink. Healthy Mommy.
She makes up for the rest of us.
Untrue.
Well, we were really strict on your SOS challenge. You didn't have
I didn't have any alcohol at all.
So, I mean, you do even have one drink a week?
See, again, it's things that start to creep back in, which is not the end of the world, but you realize slowly over time that those have to go away again.
You have less than one drink a week, though. You have one drink, like 2 a month.
Yeah, I would say that's right, accurate.
Unless you're doing things that we don't know about.
Right.
What helped you overcome the strong food cravings that you had as you were transitioning?
The results. I could see the absolute results.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, like when I bring the shopping home and I'm carrying 3 shopping bags that are 40 pounds up 4 steps, it's like a weekly reminder that I carry all this. And it's almost like I purposely carry a lot, as much as I can in, to remind myself that I used to carry that type of weight around all day, every day. 4 steps, I'm like, oh my God, I'm not gonna make it.
I think too, if you're craving something, there's a possibility that you're not eating enough. Because I feel if I'm full, I'm not craving anything.
Yeah, it's one of 2 things if you're craving high-calorie processed food. Either you haven't eaten enough, so ask yourself, would I have a healthy meal? Because if your body's sending you signals for high-calorie foods, it could be telling you, we need energy.
Right.
And you're not listening, so go get chocolate, go get potato chips. Those have a ton of calories. If the answer to whether or not you want a healthy meal is no, and you're not truly hungry, then ask yourself, what am I really hungry for? What am I going for? Do I need to numb out? Do I need a source of excitement? Am I stressed and I want some relief? What am I really craving here?
I've forgotten about that trick, and that's really important. That worked for me. It definitely did. Like, would I eat some vegetables, or what's going on?
Oh, something else that I wanted to say is, Dad, when I hear you talking about transitioning to this lifestyle, something you can tell people that you're helping, or you yourself, is you can always go back to what you were doing before. All the foods that you used to eat, they're still going to be in the grocery stores. So if you really miss them that much and this is the worst thing ever, you can always go back. But you owe it to yourself to give it a fair shot, and perhaps that's something you can use to convince others. Say, listen, on day 8 of this challenge, we'll do a 7-day challenge. On day 8, have all the pizza in the world you want. You can always go back to it, but let's just see how this goes. Dad, were you ever worried about protein or losing muscle?
Early on, you had me read a starch solution, and Dr. McDougall made it very clear that there's really protein in just about everything that you eat.
What were some of the bad habits that you've let go of?
How long is this video?